I'm a gamer and running in circles. I'm a rabbit and running in circles. I'm annoying and running in circles. Might as well jump in the hole and be a bunny. Be a bunny!
Hola mis queridos, ¿cómo estás? Mi amo Alicia, también conocido como Coneja. Hello my kittens, how are you? My name is Allison, also known as Rabbit, and today we're playing PowerWash Simulator. Always be playing any game on this channel. Still irks me that they're adding more to the game, but also excited just because there's so much to do. I'm not even halfway through the career. Okay, sorry. Most likely you saw 3 photos during the intro and you're probably confused with an explanation or probably don't care about that explanation. I'm going to give it to you anyway. I want to make sure the gameplay on this channel is as comfortable for you as it is for me. I am over the age of 18, over the age of 21. There's going to be cussing, and adult topics. Most likely. But today I'm probably going to be covering a dream that I mentioned in the cheat stream beforehand. I'm not going to continue on with what I went. I'm going to be repeating what the dream was. Anyway, I am at that point in my life where I've changed what I use my cursing with that I no longer use religious words in my cursing. So it's God, Jesus Christ, holy hell, anything like that, seriously. I've been doing this since 2018, a pivotal year in my life. I'm not going to go into detail why, but I've been trying to figure out what words to replace those religious words, and recently I figured out what words to use them, and I'm happy of what those words are. Now, most likely I'll be able to catch myself on it, correct myself, but if I slip and you hear a religious word by cursing, and I accidentally left it in the video, please call me out in it, comment down below. Seriously, I need to get used to this, and it's driving me nuts that I haven't gotten used to it. Alright, with that, let's go ahead and get into the game, shall we? Why did I pull that out of... I'm not finishing my sentence. Ooh, there's new bonus jobs. What? Oh, never mind. So, I decided to, if I remember correctly, I decided to continue on with this off screen a little bit because I wanted to get the inside of the place done of that tower. Um, Thankfully I didn't do too much where I ended up getting a new text, but um, I didn't want you all to be annoyed with that there was still more to the job to do. But because I was trying to get like the 100% of inside of it clean, part of the door frame was involved in that. So we're not going to be using the ladder because this building is too tall for that. We're going to be using this. Now I'm just going to double check that everything inside's clean. Yep, looks like. And I was making sure that all that is good. Okay. Now to double check. You know what? Let's use this. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to cover today. And I just mean as far as the job. I don't know what we're going to be talking about today. I should have wrote down some topics beforehand. But I do want to bring up the dream that I was explaining in the cheat stream. Um, Now I try to keep my dreams a little private just because of the eroticness that happens in them. But sometimes my dreams get so crazy that I want to share them. And in those instances, like, it's difficult for me to actually write them down because it's just so much that happens in them, you know? So explaining them is better off to someone. Um, Hopefully no one actually takes advantage of this and uses my dreams that I tell as their own written stories. I will come after you if you do. But seriously though, like if you want to use my story, if you want to use any of my dreams for your stories, please contact me. Because I would at least like to have some credits. I don't care about the money. I just want to make sure I get the credit of where you got your information, you know. Uh, anyway, so the dream that I had was about werewolves and lycans, and I even explained like the boundaries that I have for the werewolves in my universe and in my written universe. I mean, like I actually have created my own little universe when it comes to my stories. Like nearly all my stories are intertwined in some way, in some fashion, and it's partly because of the soulmate bond. Because I have it that soulmates are basically magically connected. Um, like you know that phrase, "soulmates can't live without the other." I made that literal in my universe. Like if one soulmate dies, so does the other of a broken heart. But if they are supernatural beings, it depends on how much magic they have, how much what their power is. Um, they could be strong enough to survive it, especially if they're immortal. Um, which can be uh, which can hurt them emotionally, you know. And I have it that with soulmates, hey, how's Trix? Still loving spraying your jet around? Excuse me, Harper? Fuck off! I'm tired of you and your jobs. Narrowly missed out on another RV today. This thing was uglier than a chihuahua chewing a wasp, but it would have been my little wasp chewing chihuahua. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this person is a man or woman, but jeez. I did not need that. But anyway, so in my written universe, soulmates are connected emotionally, mentally, and physically. Um, I don't know about psychologically, but like there are a whole bunch of connections, and there's a cheating system as well as a pairing system. With the pairing system, it's being to being, human to human. It is uncommon for it to be human to being. Um, and if that is the case, then the human has magic, or will have a future in magic. Now, I have recently created a new race in this supernatural world. I forgot what the actual name of it was, but they're basically human assassins that are born with magic, and they're natural born killers, basically. And any item that is in their hand can be turned into a weapon. And any blood that is on that weapon disappears along with the weapon when it turns back to the said item. Um, I absolutely love this creation. But anyway, back to the werewolves. Oh, right, hang on. There's one more thing about the soulmates. Sorry, I said there was a cheating system. So, soulmates cannot cheat on each other. Like, they cannot lie to each other, they cannot keep secrets from each other. It will tear them apart if they do. And I don't mean that literally, just like emotionally. Uh, but anyway, just like, they cannot cheat on each other no matter how hard they try. They can't have children with anyone else unless it was their soulmates. But you can, if you have found your soulmates, you can give them permission to cheat. The wording, though, has to be precise, whether it be specific or vague. And that the vagueness can really fuck you up, in the long run. But ultimately, just like be careful with your wording. It's crazy. I think I made it pretty clear with this soulmate bond. But or sorry, with the cheating system. So yeah, oh, there's one other thing about the soulmate. Sorry, I'm remembering now. Um, with, when you bond, the way for the connections to completely work is if you bond with your soulmates physically. Like once you have sex with your soulmates, those emotional, mental, and physical connections strengthen. And I really do mean strengthen. That mental connection becomes telepathy. Like basically once you two bond, you can basically talk to each other in your thoughts, whether it's just to communicate um, small things that need to happen, or if you have been taken by force and you need help in being rescued. And then this has happened several times in the stories that I have created, especially in my dreams. It's pretty crazy, pretty intense. Uh, so, ooh, um, oh wow, I did not realize how bad this was. Timber. Ooh, this is spot there. Come on, let's get that itty bitty spot. Oh wow, that is. Come on, there we go. Right. Okay. The ledge. Oh shit, that ain't good. Okay, back to this. All right, we need to fix this position here. There we go. Jeez, that was frustrating. All right. Um, where was I? um, I've already finished talking about the cheating system, the soulmate bond. Oh, right, the soulmate bond. Um, like the bonding of it, the mental connection, strengthening. Um, Oh, that was easy. Let's see. Now, I think now that I've laid all that out to you all, let me go ahead and talk about my dream. That was way too easy. Oh, hang on. Alright, well. Whee! That was too easy. Let's start at the top. Alright, so the werewolf lichen story. Oh, I should mention the boundaries that I have for them. So, now a lot of the werewolf stories that you read or watch or hear, they always mention that they have to strip naked before they shapeshift. I absolutely hate that. And I'm not saying that because the nakedness and all that. I don't think it's fair that when they shift with their clothes on, their clothes are torn to shreds. I absolutely despise that rule. I don't think it's fair to ruin good clothes like that. So in my written universe, I have it that when they shift, their clothes go with them. Their fur like pokes through the threadings and basically covers them like a scuba skin. I don't think that rule is fair for any wolf or even the lichens. So I made that rule. Uh, and if y'all have beef with that, leave a comment. Either that or you can just leave, because that is what I truly believe and I will not change it. Um, anyway, so the dream that I had was basically this princess of a king from, I forgot what country I made up, but I had it that this princess was kind of had it all, but she was also being abused and and by the king and queen, like people who raised her and all that shit. Like she didn't like, even though she had it all, even with all the abusive shit that she went through growing up, like she did not like being there. And so she just kind of had it. Like she normally sleeps in the nude, and she refuses to let her parents be in her room because she wants her privacy. And uh, and thankfully they respected her privacy. But unfortunately, like something happened, and she didn't know it until it was too late. And basically, what had happened was that the king and queen sold her. She was going to be shipped to some random kingdom to to for like some sort of peaceful alliance. And she didn't know this until her mom basically raped her. Like when the rape happened, she was done. She was fed up with living at the kingdom at the castle. So during her arguments with her mom as well as her dad, her handmaiden basically is just starting packing her things, and her dad noticed and was like, and demanded to know why her handmaiden was packing her things, and and she explained that years prior, she made a deal with her handmaiden that if at any point she was fed up and she, that if a line was crossed and she was present in their arguments, she would be she would be heading to the princess's room and packing her things so that she could leave immediately and not have to face the fucking consequences of what her parents did. She did not want to be part of this alliance. She did not want to be married off to someone she didn't know. And the fact is, they didn't even discuss with her on the matter. They just assumed she would just be obedient, like they had been trying to teach her to be. And she refuses to be obedient. So she just got fed up with it, and 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 I forgot the details of what happened between there and when she gets to the front of the castle. But her brothers end up learning about this, and they were pissed. They did not like that their parents had planned this. So basically, they decided to pack their things up because they refused to let their parents do this to her, and they were worried that their parents had done the same thing for them, for the brothers as well, which they did. Um, ultimately causing the ultimately making it clear that none of them were going to be leading this specific kingdom that they grew up in, which is kind of dumb. On the king and queen's part, but they didn't. It just seems they didn't want anyone to rule the kingdom except them. So, and the thing was, they knew about the princess's past, like I have to say it here, who her birth parents were. And she kind of had a feeling that she wasn't related to the king and queen just because of because of her physical appearance was completely different to them, and even the grandparents as well. Like, she looked nothing like any of them. So she basically had her suspicions that she wasn't related. She was just waiting for confirmation from the king and queen saying that she wasn't, you know. And basically when she and her brothers were at the front of the castle, she was shocked to see whoops. She was shocked to see that there was a carriage already ready for them. And this specific carriage was lined in silver. And for some reason, the princess' instinct was that she could not be in that carriage. She knew something inside her was saying, no, do not go in there. It is trouble. It is dangerous. And the crazy thing is, it was actually getting dark. And, and I say this because, like, the sun was setting, the moon is, like, slowly peeking through the sky, and the king and queen basically had to call the guards to insist the that the princess be dragged to the carriage and be locked inside the carriage, basically, until she arrives at the said kingdom they promised she would be living at. And of course, the brothers were dead against it, so basically the brothers were fighting off the guards that were trying to capture her, basically. And the guards were basically roughhousing her to get into the carriage. She was pissed, and just the scene they were causing brought attention to a lot of the citizens. And they were confused as to what was going on. And so the princess was just shouting out curse words, saying, "This is not right, and you know it. You can't be doing this to me. You can't be doing this to us. We will not go down without a fight." And inside her mind, she was like, "Please, please, please, someone do something to show that this can't be happening, to show that I am not normal. I can't be normal. This isn't normal. Something needs to be done." And in her heart basically was like, "Please, someone show that I'm more than what my parents are telling me here." And she basically got her wish. Mother Luna, the moon itself, decided to hasten the night sky and showed her bright self, her beautiful moon rays shined brightly on the princess, and she had her first shift. She went through so much pain of her bones just like shifting all the heck. Like her bones elongating, her muscles kind of growing a little bit to match up her body, and she was not a werewolf. She was a lichen. And so, she, as a lichen, she basically called out, like she did the howl, and she was kind of panicking. She was like, "What is going on? Why am I a lichen? What is that?" And because she was still angry with her parents, she lunged at them. She was pissed that they did not tell her the truth. And, actually, no, she didn't lunge at them. She lunged at the guards that were grabbing her. She killed off the guards, basically. And then she growled at her parents, which, when they saw her shift, they were mortified. They didn't realize she was a lichen. I mean, they knew which pack she was from, but they didn't know that she was a lichen. Which shocked them to heck, you know. And with that, she was, pissed to find out that she was not human. That they didn't bother to tell her the truth. With that, she figured out how to shift back, and she demanded the guards, or she basically called out on her parents, saying, what you just did here is treason. You don't deserve to be rulers." And she called out on the guards, saying, "Guards, take them to the dungeon. They are no longer fit to be rulers." And they fucking obeyed her. Especially since a good portion of them, we're not human. A few particular knew what she was and bowed to her. And it turned out, she wasn't just any other lichen. She was a lichen queen. The lichen queen. So, and what's crazy is that the people who had witnessed this, those citizens, they were shocked that she was doing this, and they were were basically angry and didn't want her to be sending the king and queen to the dungeon. And she decided to call out on the citizens for this, saying, "Hey, are you aware of what they did? Are you aware of what they were doing while raising me and my brothers?" She explained to them that she and her brothers were not just being abused physically and verbally, they were being raped. They were forced to do things they didn't want to do, and all that kind of shit. And a lot of the citizens were shocked to hear this. And she announced, saying, if anyone sides with them, you are traitors as well. I do not support any loyalists to the king and queen. Like, she was adamant, not being involved with the king and queen in any shape or form. And so, any loyalist was going to be treated closely pretty much the same way that they treated her. Even though she didn't want that happening anymore. And, basically, she went to her so-called grandparents and saying, "Hey, this is happening." Actually, no, she didn't say this was happening. She played it off as a mystery, kind of. She, pretended none of it happened to her, when she faced her grandparents. And, she was actually trying to figure out whether she was adopted or not. I forgot their exact conversation, but it was pretty intense. Eventually, she was like, they're, eventually she told them, "I am now ruler. The king and queen are in the dungeon, but me and my brothers want to leave and find our birth families. And I don't feel comfortable leaving this kingdom without a ruler. So I'm giving you two choices. Either side with the people who raised me, or no, sorry, that's not what she was saying. She said, I don't want to leave this kingdom without a ruler, so you have two choices. Either to stay bound to this bedroom, or to your room, or leave this kingdom temporarily until I return." And I think at this point they had told her which werewolf pack she was from, and she was adamant in visiting that pack to find out what happened, why she was taken. Actually, no, it's not why she was taken. It turned out that the king and queen had kidnapped her and her brothers from their families. No one knew. Well, it's not that, no, she wasn't taken, she was sold. She was legit sold by her family. And, that kind of pissed her off, She wanted to figure out why she was sold. And so, her grandpa was adamant, and one of the questions that she asked him was that, would either of you, if given the opportunity, would either of you help the king and queen escape the dungeon? And that was basically her main question, to help them decide whether they wanted to stay in their room or rule temporarily until she came back. And the grandpa was kind of pissed and was adamant adamantly said, yes, I would help them. I will stay in the room. Uh, and which kind of surprised her, you know. It also surprised his wife too, nonetheless. But the grandma was aware of everything, and she knew how much this meant to the princess, and was like, okay, I I am with you. I had no idea they were abusing you like this. I had no idea they even raped you, but that they raped you today. I will help. I will temporarily rule until you return. And with that, she basically just went to her handmaiden saying, "Hey, I want you to get this carriage. Um, I want you to get the carriage ready." And the two of them had like had a specific carriage in mind. She had a favorite carriage that she liked using. Unfortunately, the carriage was taken by her brothers. Um, and what's surprising is that when one of the brothers saw what carriage they had chose that that was ready for them, he was shocked and actually told their younger brother, "Hey, you should have taken this one. This is our sister's favorite carriage." And he was like, "Oh, whoops." um, but the fortunately her grandparents told her uh not just what pack she's from, but the cities that her brothers were taken from. They don't know what their families' names were, but they just knew what cities they were taken from. And so, um, when the princess reached the werewolf pack that she was from, she found out that her family are basically the rulers of the pack, the alpha pack, and that the main ruler. Actually, no, hang on, I forgot a huge detail. Um, hang on, before that, I want to see if everything here is clean. Everything with the drill tower is clean, clean, clean. Awesome. We are officially done with the drill tower. Nice. So, on her way to the pack, she, um, what's really cool is that, uh, she went to the, training grounds of, that belonged to the the king and queen's kingdom. And she basically like went through a process of like figuring out who was part of the supernatural worlds, who were not, who did not uh, follow the king and queen as faithful loyalists, you know. And she managed to, she made it blatantly clear at the end that she was picking two specific knights to be bodyguards, basically. One for her brothers, one for her. And the knights were like, nope. Most of the knights were like, nope, we're not bodyguards, we're fighters. But two specifically were like, we will follow all of you to the end. We will make sure that you're protected. So she decided to pick which one would be with her brothers, and she picked the other one to be her bodyguard. And thankfully for this, like the guy was so kind and was like, and was able to help her out on so many different things regarding the supernatural world, like informing her on different matters and all that shit. And oddly enough, um, oddly enough, when they arrived at the carriage that her handmaiden picked, she was a little shocked that her favorite carriage wasn't available. Um, and which the handmaid made it kind of clear that her brothers had picked her favorite one unintentionally. Which she was like, fine. That's fine. I'm fine. But anyway, she was understanding and was like, okay, uh, well, at least you picked a carriage that has a good driver, of someone that I actually like, you know. And unfortunately, or not, I shouldn't say unfortunately, fortunately, um, the driver for the carriage happened to be soulmates with her bodyguard. And she was so fucking ecstatic when she found that out. But what's crazy is that he was trying so hard to hide that fact. Like he did not want her to know that the two of them were gay. Um, and basically tried to he basically tried to get the driver to just like shut up and stop teasing him and flirting with him. So he was like, "She isn't liking my guy. She can hear us. Stop it." It was so cute. Oh man. And she made it kind of clear with her handmaidens to like be quiet. She wanted to hear this conversation between the two of them. It was just too cute, the interactions between the gay couple. And she just didn't think it was adorable. She thought it was endearing. Like she was happy that the two of them found each other. Um, and so she and her handmaiden was basically quiet up until a certain point. She was like, they were probably like about 5, maybe 10 miles out from her family's pack, and the bodyguard insisted the driver stop here, especially since she could smell something was different, something didn't seem right, and so she left the carriage and asked why did they stop, and the bodyguard explained, you know, that in this specific in the area they were about to come up on belonged was a territory that belonged to a rogue pack of werewolves. And he was concerned for her. He didn't want her to go through this, but he knew the only way to get to the pack that she wanted to get to. Um, and so this is when she came up with a plan um, that she thought was relatively decent. She decided that they should go ahead and drive through the territory, uh, without her. Like she was going to shift and follow closely behind, relatively behind, so that she could fight off the werewolves if they ever attacked. And they did. Um, they were they were definitely attacked, and she was kind of shocked as to how well they were organized, because they basically had it down, had a like she was kind of shocked on how well they were organized and wanted to know what was going on here. And ultimately, like she ended up figuring out that the leader of this pack, of the rogue pack, happened to be right there at the fight. Nice. Um, and so with that, she managed to like tear him down, wore him down to a point where she wounded him. And when when that happened, basically she was like on top of him. Um, and he kind of flirted with her, and she was like, "Gross, fuck off." And she kind of made this cutesy little face as a um I forgot what happened, like the details of how she made that face. And she ended up, how do I say this? She ended up grabbing his like one of his fingers with her whole hand because she had a feeling that there was something between them. And when she did that and it unintentionally made that cutesy face, he was like, "Oh shit, oh shit," and he like called off the attack. And it turned out they were brother and sister. He basically explained to her that their uncle was the leader of the pack, was the current alpha of the pack, and had basically killed off almost their entire family. This pissed her off, of course. Um, like like their uncle basically like abused, neglected, tortured, did every kind of torture to basically kill off their entire family. Like the only people left of their family was basically her two brothers, um, their uncle and their mom, which didn't make sense to her because um, which didn't make sense to her because at this point in the story she had learned what soulmates were and their bonds. So actually no, she didn't, but she knew something didn't seem right, you know, with it just being her mom. And basically he had ran off. Like when he found out that his uncle was behind all this shit, he ran off because he wasn't just scared, he was nervous about the future of the pack and didn't feel comfortable being there anymore. Like he couldn't take it. And so he ran and hid not far from the pack so that he could create his own pack and basically protect the family, the remainder of what is left of the family, of what is left of the pack, so that anyone who comes through, they, if they had any ill intentions to the pack, they wouldn't be entering the pack, period. Like he was basically a protector, and she could see that, which had her come up with a plan, an ulterior motive, basically. Um, so she was kind of excited about this news. Uh, when he told her like why he left, you know, and she was in awe with everything, you know, and she was basically proud of her brother. And so when she entered the pack, um, she had every intention of like taking over the pack originally before she found out about her brother. But but after meeting him, she was like, okay, he's definitely a leader. He should be the one ruling this pack, not me. Um, and so after she entered the pack and met her uncle, she was pissed. She eventually found out that he was the one that arranged the selling of her, the selling of killing off her family and all that shit. You know, like he revealed a lot. Um, and she didn't like it one bit. What is going on here? Here we go. Um, but ultimately, like, she got angry enough that she was just fed up and she decided to kill him. Um, But yeah, in doing so, she was, like the people who had witnessed this happening, they were like, why did you do this? Now the pack has no leader because the brother that was the remainder of the family that was left was basically her mom and her brother, and neither of them were fit enough or healthy enough to rule, to lead. Are you willing to take this position of alpha? And she was like, yes, I am. But I have a better idea. I think, I think, uh, so and so should roll. Like she knew the name of her brother that she bumped into. Like he told her. And they were pissed. The people were pissed. They were saying, no, he is not fit to rule. He is a fucking rogue. He's a coward. And she was like, no, no, he's not a coward. Y'all are idiots. He was doing what needed to be done. He was not, he did not run off because he was scared. He did not run off because he was a coward. He ran off because he was worried about your future. He didn't want anything bad to happen, so he kept a watchful eye. He should be leading, not me. And so, fuck's sakes. Um, like eventually, like she managed to get her brother to come back, and he told, she told him like basically gave him positive reinforcement, saying, "This is why you're a leader. This is why you should be leading this pack, not me." And he was just so fucking proud with the way she worded it, and he was like, "Yeah, you're definitely the Lycan Queen." um, and there was like this prophecy too. Um, uh, Even her uncle had brought it up that there was a prophecy in their family about a Lycan Queen. Um, that her parents, that the Lycan Queen's parents did something foul that no one would have approved of, and the details were that um, she was born a hybrid, basically. Um, the prophecy was called the Hybrid Queen, uh, but they didn't know that. They didn't know that until much later. She didn't know that until much later. Um, but basically, what the prophecy was that is that everything? Yeah. Okay. Basically, the prophecy was that the Lycan Queen's parents were the Lycan Queen's mother was ill, and she worried about the pregnancy, so she came to a witch, their pack witch, uh, to make sure that the baby would be born healthy. But but and the witch agreed. But she told them that it would come at a cost. But she didn't tell the couple what the cost was. And ultimately, what the cost was that the witch had put her own blood in the in the mother's belly to make sure that the baby would be born safely and healthily. But the baby would be born of um. Hello, is this the water jet people? I'm having a frightful time with the ordinary. Any chance you could give it a quick whiz? With the ordinary? I can't help notice that your ad says power wash. You do realize that involves hot water? You should change the wording on your ad to pressure wash, unless you're planning an upgrade soon. I am planning an upgrade. Um, but I don't think it's the actual power washing thing you're thinking of. Anyway, I am coming up to the end of the video, but I'm far from finishing the stream. But I think that's all I'm going to say about the dream when this video is done. I mean, just as much as I want to say everything about the dream, like, the story is intense. If you haven't noticed. Yeah. But anyway, so the prophecy continues on saying, that the baby was born of not, that the baby would be born of both lichen and witch, and that because of the witch used blood magic to keep her safe and healthy, the consequences would be something that even the witch didn't predict. Um, and uh, but the prophecy just kind of stopped there. Like their family didn't know the entire prophecy. Um, but because she had heard, but because someone had told her about this prophecy, she was pissed. Like she was pissed that her parents went to a dark witch, that their pack witch was followed dark magic. She was shocked by this news, and so were her brothers. And they were like, you know what? This is bullshit. You're bullshit. You are no longer the pack witch. And actually, wait, no, they did know the full prophecy because I'm remembering now that the witch was shocked of what she learned. Um, um, she, because the new alpha, her brother, demanded that the pack witch be brought up front, that they needed to address what was going on here, and so she explained the prophecy. The witch explained the prophecy, but she didn't know the entire details of it. But someone in the pack did. Um, and they finished off explaining the prophecy for her. That the Lycan Queen was not just born of werewolf blood, um, that she was not just born of werewolf blood and witch blood, but that she would be born of vampire. That she would be immortal, basically. Um, and she was shocked at this news, and so was the witch. The witch was shocked that that was the consequence. Um, and because her basically she and her brother learned of this, they were both pissed, especially the fact that they found out the witch followed dark magic, and eventually found out that she was loyal to the king and queen of the kingdom that she grew up in. She had helped her uncle arrange the selling of her. And this information definitely pissed off the brother, and basically told her to run, told the witch to run, that she was no longer a pack witch. And at this point, the Lycan Queen was just tired. She wanted to go back to the kingdom and just sleep. um, what's crazy though is that she didn't want to leave until her brother had a new pack witch. Um, I was that the case? Yes, it was. I remember now. So she went to a supernatural area that was not far from the pack. Um, she went to the closest city, I should say, because the cities around the world in this universe had their own supernatural area. Oh shit, I'm past the hour. Um, so what's crazy is that I don't remember who it was, but someone had told her that there was a coven of witches that would be ideal for a pack witch. And so she had went to this city to find the coven. Um, and for some reason, the magical bubble that the magic barrier that protected the supernatural area prevented her from entering. And she didn't understand why. But the guards that were at the entrance knew why, and they were shocked. Um, and so she basically had to send off uh, the carriage driver in to find the coven and basically figure out what's going on. And it turned out that the coven had disguised themselves as it turned out that the coven the Dark Witch was from used to reside in that area, and because the supernatural community, found out that the coven followed dark magic, they basically kicked them out and basically casted magic to prevent anyone from that coven to enter, which sucks because that was the coven where the Dark Witch came from. The Pack Witch came from. That's what prevented her from entering. Um, and so, but the guy was like, okay, well, do you know any coven that I could communicate with so that I could talk to them of a different matter? The guy he talked to was like, you know what? There is. They followed this name. They used this pack name, this coven name, because they figured it would be best to hide themselves. Um, they're good witches though. And so what's hilarious is that the person you talked to is on the basically the board of directors that are in charge of this supernatural community in that area. So the driver was thankful for that. I really should be going, but I want to go into this dream just a little bit more to explain why I'm uh, continuing. So he basically finds the coven and talks to them about their situation, why she can't get in, um, and basically he is trying to find someone who would be willing to be the pack witch for the specific Lycan pack. Uh, but also my queen intends to start her own pack in the kingdom that she's was raised in, and she needs a pack witch. And so the witches were basically had to converse privately to figure out who would join, but they didn't even do it privately. They were like spoke in whispers, like right in front of him. And one specific witch spoke up. She's like, "I'd be willing to go." And crazy enough, like I don't remember all the details of the conversation, but she initially eventually revealed that she wasn't born a witch, that she had joined the coven when she was young, that the witches found her beaten and bruised and thought it appropriate to raise her and teach her the ways of the witches and their coven, which was nice and all that. But the way they mentioned her story of like how she was found had him curious. So he asked her a specific question. And this question was, when did they find you? How long ago was this? And she said it was when she was 5, and it was in the month of May, like, is somewhere in the middle. And this shook him to bits, because he knew for a fact that the Lycan Queen's birthday is somewhere in the middle of May. He knew the Lycan Queen's birthday. And the fact that it was in May had him shook. And he was like, okay, I am willing to, I choose her as Lycan Queen's pack witch, if that is okay with the coven. And they were like, and they didn't want her to go. Like, they knew she had a bright future. They knew that she had potential in becoming a great witch. But that she still doesn't know, like, the advanced magic. Like, she's still a beginner somewhat, you know? But this specific witch that he wanted, like, she was saying, hey, I have a really good feeling about this. I really want to join them on this adventure. And so the leader of the coven was like, are you sure you want to do this? And she said yes. And so that was that. And thankfully, when he brought her back to the carriage, they would kind of converse a little bit. She was kind of curious as to why he was shocked about when she was found. And when they arrived at this carriage, she thought the Lycan Queen looked a tad familiar. And the driver explained to the Lycan Queen that she wasn't born a witch, that she was found beaten and bruised at the age of 5 in the month of May. And she was shocked about this, because the Lycan Queen knew that even though it was her birthday, that was also the month that she was sold by her uncle. And so she took it upon her as instinct to wrap her hand around the witch's finger and made that cutesy little smile. And she gasped. The witch gasped and realized and uttered the word sister. She uttered the Lycan Queen's birth name. Oh my gosh, just like, oh my gosh. Which had her reeling. They were both reeling in excitement. And this put the Lycan Queen in like a huge brainstorm. And she was realizing, if her sister is still alive, how much of their family is still alive because of this? Because of what he did. And so she I don't remember what happened from there, but just like after that, everything just kind of fell into place of like her adopted brothers finding their birth families, and not just their birth families, but also more survivors of her family and all that kind of shit. Just it made the ball rolling. Oh my gosh. Just, oh my gosh. This story, I love this dream to bits. And what's crazy is that, I've already had a couple of other dreams, and because of me being that observer, maladaptive daydreamer, Oh, I should have brought that up. Um, I'll probably bring that up in my house flipper video. But yeah, I am an observer, maladaptive daydreamer. Oh man, that that is something shocking. But yeah, that's about it of what I'm going to say about the dream. Um, and the other dreams that I've had since then, they're in different countries, but ultimately some of them I had tied to the Lycan Queen and her family. Um, and if not them, then the kingdom that the Lycan Queen's soulmate is from, which in turn, which was kind of funny to watch because even he was adopted into the royal family. Oh man, that story is crazy. What's even crazier is the original royal family of that kingdom. Anyway, um, I've been going on long enough as is. I am like 15 minutes over of when I should have ended, but I was too excited about the dream to tell you about. So with that, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and bid you all adieu. Why is this? Oh shit. Um, right. So where was I? I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I did, seriously, because I had a blast telling you all about this dream. What the fuck? Here we go. Um, but yeah, I hope you all had a great day. Um, I hope you would hit that like button if you said you would. And if you're just now tuning into this video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that red subscribe button, make it that beautiful gray, as well as that bell icon right next to it. That'll notify you of all the videos that I do, which are on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central and Sundays 4:30 p.m. Central. I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Sweet Recipe Rabbit, shocked that there's rust on this metal frame. Actually, I shouldn't be shocked. And also saying goodbye. Stay awesome, man. Stay on YouTube.
I'm a gamer and running in circles. I'm a rabbit and running in circles. I'm annoying and running in circles. Might as well jump in the hole and be a bunny. Be a bunny!
I am surprised that the fire department did not realize this is not just from smoke and fire. This is from a fucking volcano. Where is the volcano? Actually, you know what? I'm going up. Puppies. Eh. I don't see the volcano. Oh, no, that's the water tower. What's that over there? Maybe it's the radio tower? I think that's the restaurant over there. Shopping mart. Yeah, I'm surprised the volcano's not in sight. What the fuck?